Hey guys, I'm gonna be explaining my story of how I knew I was trans because I didn't just know from when I was a kid. I know a lot of trans people know when they're a kid and they just don't really say anything, or they try but their parents don't listen or whatever, but so they can't do anything until you're older, or they just don't know what trans is, and then later they do. So but I didn't know when I was a kid. I only knew a few years back. So I'll first start talking about my childhood. I mean, I didn't think that like I should be a boy, but like when I was a child, but now looking back on my childhood, I can see the things that are kind of like signs that I was trans, or like now that I look back, it makes a lot of sense. I was really a tomboy. My my mom could not get me into a dress even when like before I could like barely talk, and yeah, I just never really got into anything girly, and my mom hated it because she really wanted a girl, and you know, and I played with my brother a lot, my older brother. We would always like play with like Bionicles and Legos and video games and stuff like that. So I was lucky to have a brother to do that stuff with, so I could have a comfortable childhood and not be forced into these really girly things. Um, One thing I really noticed that I didn't really pay attention to back then is I used to have these dreams where I would, like when you can kind of shape a dream the way you want, like physically, if you realize that you're dreaming, so you just kind of alter things. And I'd have these dreams a lot where I would try to like take off my shirt, and I would make sure that my chest would be male and flat underneath, and I'd do the same thing for the bottom area too. It was really weird. I didn't really think anything of it until I thought about it now. So yeah, that's just and as I saw some like family friends who were older growing up, um, I'd see them like a girl, and she would be like dressing more like feminine and like being like, a teenager girl. And I was always worrying like, oh God, I can't, what am I supposed to do? Like, I cannot dress like that and I cannot act like that. I just didn't know. I was really scared when I was a kid. So yeah, that's pretty much most of my childhood gender-wise summed up. And so I'll come to how I discovered about trans people in the first place. So I was into cosplay, yeah, because my friends got me into it because I always liked anime anyway. But yeah, anyway, this one cosplayer, he's pretty famous. His name is Twin Fools. I'm sure if you know cosplay or anime or trans guys, you most likely have heard of him. He's pretty famous as a cosplayer. And before, like, as this like about the time I started like following him like on his channel, on his YouTube channel and everything, he posted this like a transgender announcement, and I was like, I just didn't really think of it back then. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. And I didn't start thinking about it until he started posting things like a few months tea and everything, and through his transition he kept posting updates about it, and I would watch them because I thought that it was kind of interesting. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, that would be like a horrible thing to have to go through, like having that feeling about your body that is just so wrong, and that you have to take hormones and do surgery to feel okay with that. And now I realize that that was kind of another sign that it's like kind of a denial thing, like like I don't think, I mean, of course you like feel like kind of sympathetic because if you think about that position, because it's like, oh yeah, that's a really horrible thing. But I saw that I was thinking about it so much because that's actually how I felt on the inside, like the dysphoria and everything. That's how I felt on the inside. I just didn't really know it yet. So yeah, it was like sophomore year, or no, like the end of I don't know. It was about like 3 years ago or something. So that's when I discovered what trans was. Well, like, of course, like everyone knows that, like you hear about like sex changes and stuff like in the media, but you know, they make it seem like it's like a freak of nature kind of thing. But seeing like an actual person going through their transition, kind of like gave me like a more like human side of it, other than how the media is like, oh, Cher's daughter's boy now, you know. So yeah, um, it's Twin Fools, yeah, he's pretty awesome. You should follow him and whatnot. He's cool. I really look up to him. So then, yeah, so by the end of sophomore year, I actually changed my name because my birth name was, or not like illegally, but my birth name was really feminine, and it's like one of those like really like preppy white girl names. Like I can't stand it. So I actually got my friends and classmates to start and teachers to start calling me Ronnie because I felt that it fit me more, and yeah, I felt a lot more comfortable that way. So yeah, that was going pretty good. I think already then I was kind of, by then when I changed my name, I already knew I was kind of questioning if maybe I was trans, because I remember talking to one of my best friends about it, and I was really uncomfortable with the idea because it really, really scared me. Yeah, I remember I used to, when we were talking about it, I used to make her use like a code word because I didn't like the word transgender because it scared me so much. So she called it like peanut butter. So she'd use that like as a code word instead, which is pretty ironic because I'm allergic to peanut butter. So yeah. So yeah, around the time that I changed my name, two of my like friends, kind of classmates, they actually came out as trans, female to male also. And I remember I was a bit jealous because I guess I was jealous that I couldn't do the same because I was too scared or I wasn't completely sure or anything, so I was just kind of lost. So yeah, it was just, I had weird feelings about it. Like, of course I was happy for them, but I was kind of jealous because I felt like I couldn't do the same yet because I wasn't completely sure and I was scared. So I kind of adopted a more like kind of a gender fluid kind of identity. I mean, I didn't actually use that word, but like when people would like ask, or like if people ever asked, or I would just be like, oh, I'm just human. I mean, I'm not really a gender. But yeah, because I didn't really want to think about having to change and whatnot. So following that discovery is this huge, long period of denial. I thought it was, well, it's denial and confusion. Like, I realized now that I was confused because I was denying it, because of my fears and everything. So I kind of switched back and forth. Like, I'd be like, yeah, I'm a tomboy, and then I'd be like, and then sometimes I'd be like, no, this isn't right. My body's wrong, and I'd be like, I'm a boy. But it was really hard because then I'd do these stupid things like I'd compare myself to like stereotypical men like on TV and stuff, and I'd be like, that's not me at all. I can't physically, mentally, that's not me. And that was a really stupid thing to do because on TV shows they they always portray, like, especially in like comedies and stuff, they always portray guys as like these like total like buff, oh, I'm so cool, and most of them end up being like a total douche anyway. But they're always like these big guys, and even like the underdog guys are still like kind of, you know, they're not the same as like underdog guys in real life. um, so yeah, it was really bad. So then I thought like it's easier to just be a tomboy because I can't act like a stereotypical guy or whatever. So there's actually some points through this time where I would try to get myself to be like, yeah, I can try to start dressing a little bit more feminine and try to act a little bit more feminine. But I didn't actually even go through with it. It was more like a thought, like, I can try, let's try this. But if I ever actually like tried by like buying like a shirt that was like more like not even that bad, but like more feminine, I could not even wear it. It was just too uncomfortable. I can't wear anything that's like not male or unisex. With like shirts, because you know they like give that like curvy shape. So I could not do that anymore. It was just so felt so uncomfortable. And yeah, so I never actually like. I know a lot of trans guys before when they're in denial, they like go into like this complete like feminine mode where they try so hard to be a girl, and it just like kind of confuses people because then they're like, whoa, you're a boy now. It's like, what, you like acted so much like a girl and you looked so much like a girl before. So but yeah, I didn't have that, so it's a little bit easier for people to accept me because I was always this tomboy kind of person. So yeah, I actually, a few years back, I told my parents. Well, I told my mom first, and she seemed like she was paying attention and everything, and it was like this really big. It wasn't that great, but after that, she completely swept it under the rug, and she did not mention it or anything ever again. Until my dad just told her again recently, and she claimed that she'd never heard anything about it, so that was kind of interesting. I don't know if she was that much denial that she completely forgot that I told her, or she just thought it was some random phase. I don't really know. So about like a year after I told her the first time, I told my dad, and he made this a horrible joke about it. Like, it was the worst joke I have ever. It was like possibly the worst thing he could ever say at that point when I just told him. So it was a horrible. That's kind of one thing that my dad does. He makes jokes when he doesn't understand things or just to lighten the mood. But it was horrible. But he like apologized for it later, and he didn't really understand how offensive he was being. And he kind of swept it under the rug too, until he kind of had to address it because like I had like really bad, it's like severe anxiety and anxiety attacks, and like a few like months back. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but it was a long time ago. It feels like a really long time ago. But yeah, after that he had to address it because he thought like maybe it was one of the causes. So that's how we finally addressed it, and now they kind of address it, but they're still having trouble, you know, adjusting. So to actually accept the fact, or like even after I told them that I was trans, I still like after that, even after I told them, I still like kind of went back and forth, like never mind, I'm a tomboy. Especially after their reactions, because it was like they're not gonna take me seriously anyway. I mean, maybe there's like a reason that they're not taking me seriously, so maybe I should. It's just I'll just be like a tomboy. That's okay. But of course, that's not okay because that's not who I am. So I had to realize all of my fears that were the reason that I was denying it. So I had to realize that I had to accept the fact that I was afraid. It was just fear, and I have to move past that fear so I could move on and start transitioning so I could be myself and be okay with myself. So the fears that I had were the medical side of it. Of course, I mean it sounds pretty terrifying, like doing these things to your body, like injecting hormones into yourself. I mean, and the fact that most people, you probably have to take it your whole life unless you want to stop. But if you get a hysterectomy, you pretty much have to take it your whole life, and it's better to get a hysterectomy because it's not proven, but it can be very harmful. It's, I mean, sorry, I'm about to explain this, but it's pretty much better to get a hysterectomy after being on T for a while because the conflicting hormones like attacking with each other is not good for your body, and having all that stuff down there while you're getting to testosterone it can lead to a lot of problems like I'm pretty sure like it like increases the chances of like uterus cancer like a lot. So it's yeah. I don't. I'm getting off course. So yeah, I was really scared of the medical side of it because I mean I'm actually scared of hospitals. So I'm thinking that having surgery is just really scary, you know. And then yeah, so also the social side is really scary too, because I mean, like if you think like, what is everyone gonna think? And then you think like really outrageous things like, what if am I gonna get like murdered for this? Am I gonna get beat up? But I mean, it really is people, depending where you are, but in my area, people were a lot more accepting than I thought they would be. So you know. And then the third thing that I really was scared of is the fact that being transgender is a lot harder than just being a tomboy, you know? Because you have to do all this, all those things I was afraid of. Just makes it way harder. So, yeah. So I had to accept that I'm not that tough. I'm gonna be a short guy. That's okay. I had to accept that. Because that was another reason I'm thinking like, oh, I'm short, and I'm like this little weakling, I can't be a boy. But I mean, that's just stupid. I can't hold myself back from being who I am just because of these physical things I can't change. And there are some things I can change. I mean, yeah, I'm not that tough, and I'm like kind of small built in the first place. But I mean, I work out, and I mean, it's not that bad, you know. I mean, I'm not some like huge buff guy, but I mean, I can pass as a guy. Some guys are short. I mean, that's okay. And that's pretty much how I knew. It was really confusing. It took years, but I just had to think it through. I had to pick it all apart, the pieces of denial, the fears, and I had to stop being so afraid. Yeah. So, so I hope my story will have helped someone in some way. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. Um, yeah. If you I mean, nobody can really tell you if you are trans or not because that's something you have to figure out yourself. But I mean, some people's stories and points that they make can help. So feel free to ask me any questions if you want. Yeah. See you guys later.